Welcome, beautiful yogis. So glad you're here. And today, Love Your Life Yoga takes us into all the ways we can move the spine. So the spine can spiral, the spine can bend this way and that way, sideways, it can bend forward, and it can bend back. So today, let's put the spine to its lovely mobility. So welcome, come to seated, and we'll begin with a lovely breath. So take your arms wide, inhale, stretch it up, oh nice, palms together, exhale into the heart, and we'll circle through again, breathing in, stretch in each direction and up, exhaling into the heart. One more time, letting this breath of this movement invoke the present moment in our attention, in our breath. And let's hold the hands in the prayer pose, sitting tall, gaze low. Sense and feel this moment as it presents itself to you. Now release your hands to your knees. And with the eyes open again, we begin to move the spine now into flexing and rounding. So inhaling, lean a little forward, lift your chest, take the shoulders back, and then exhale, hold on to the knees and round your back. Inhaling, draw the spine forward, lift your heart. Exhale, round your back. We'll stay with this. Begin the breath and then move. And the breath, this vitalizing, powerful interface between the inner, the outer, the world of form and formless, and how it can guide this movement with which we now flow from inhale to exhale. Let's take it twice more. One more. Bring your spine now to its tall place. And as we began, palms open, inhale the arms wide and up, and exhale your hands to prayer pose. And circling the arms wide again, inhale, stretch it up into prayer pose. And one more time, wide and up, and into prayer pose. Lovely. Good. This time, inhale your arms wide, palms are open, and exhale a little tilt to your right. Tilt your body and reach, and bring your palm down, and let that other arm flow up and over. And so let's be here a few breaths, opening now the side body and letting the spine experience this leaning sideways. And it might be really nice on inhale to turn your head to look up. And then on exhaling, turn your head slowly to look down. Let's do that 2 more times. Running the current of the stretch through the ribs, through the waist, through the underarm. We have one to go. Nice. Now are you ready? We're coming to upright. Inhale, upright. Both palms are up. And then we go the other way. Exhale, lean. Drop the hand, palm down, and your right arm up and over. Keep that sit bone rooted. Feel the opening. Feel the breath into the ribs. And now we'll move the head with breath. Inhaling to turn to look upwards. Exhaling, turn to look down. Inhaling, looking up. And exhaling, looking down. Good. Are you ready? We're coming upright. Inhale, palms up. Big stretch of the arms. And now, on exhale, palms reach back and clasp your hands at your back. Now straighten the elbows. Take the shoulders back. And now let's lift the chest a little bit and squeeze the shoulder blades. And let's look up. The inhale, we look up. Keep that lovely opening into the upper back. Exhale, lower the chin to look down. Stretch the back of the neck. Do that for 2 more breath cycles. Looking up. And the exhale takes the chin lower, moving the sensation to the back of the neck. Keep your shoulder blades squeezing together much as you can for this one more time. And release your hands, bringing them to your knees, and sit tall for a moment, as though just lengthening from your tailbone to the crown of your head. Lower your gaze, and take a moment to just feel this place. And so while we do speak about doing yoga, yoga itself is bringing together the opposite, yoking them. And this capacity to shift from doing to being. Beautiful, everyone. And so now, inhaling your arms wide again, palms open, shoulders down, and a lovely long neck. For the exhale, rotate your spine towards your right. Exhale, turn. Stay for breath in. And we'll go a little further in this direction. Lower your hands, one on the opposite knee and the other behind you. Now we've got a little leveraging to turn more, hand on knee and ground. Be aware that the inhale takes the spine longer, even in the spiraled place. And the exhale allows us to go teensy bit more into the twist. One more time. And teensy bit more exhale. Good. Now turn your face to look over your left shoulder. And as we look over the left shoulder, we might find it's crept up a bit. Take it down. And then lean towards that thigh, bringing the arm from behind up and over, again into a deeper side stretch. And have vigor in the arm. And feel how your ribs are turning even as we are in this twist. See where you'd like to look. You could look up, you could look down. We're here for one more breath. Good, and then this is the breath where we come to upright, all the way back up, and bring your arms to our starting place, palms open, reaching to opposite walls. Stay for your inhale, and we're going the other way now. On exhale, turn, stay for in. Go a little further, lower the hands down, find purchase. 2, lengthen up and turn that a little bit more. As we did, lengthen up and turn that a little bit more. So now the spine is spiraling, also one of its natural movements. Turn your face to look over your right shoulder, keeping that mobility in spine and neck. We're leaning in now towards your right thigh. Lean in, free up the arm, and bring it up and over. Underarm, side ribs, deepening the length. Amplify it with your internal breath. Pushing into the ribs, releasing them on exhale. And so this natural movement that happens with the breath is one of the ways that everything is kept alive and healthy and mobile. The next inhale, let's come up back to our starting place, the spreading arms, palms open. Stay for breath in. It's a joyful moment. And exhale, bring your arms forward and lower them maybe to your knees, your thighs. Relax the shoulders, lower the gaze so that you could be really inward. Feeling the reverberation through your body of these stretches. Good. And now, before we do the forward bend, let's switch the cross of the shin bones. So we've done the back bend, the side bends, the spirals, and so now let's take a forward bend. So it's always nice to first go up, get space in your spine, open the heart, and then the feeling of your heart leading the way, come forward and inch your way. So sit bones are deeply grounded, and feel your way into your low back and your hips. Bring your breath, bring vitality to these places. We could explore lifting the heart on the next breath in, and then leading with the heart, come a little bit forward. So find the play, find the ease in your body, and find where you could be. Sometimes the chin wants to lead the way, so we'll just lower it a little bit. And let the inhalation penetrate your entire back. Find these airways that we can open up in this shape. And now walk your way back to the upright place. Hands on knees or thighs, shoulders back, and find the vertical axis. Vertical axis of your spine, just really tall. Feel this. So much of this yoking of body, mind, and breath is to do with our being completely present with it. Next, we're going to straighten your right leg and take it out angled, neither directly in front nor all the way out, which is unlikely. So now place a hand on each side of the leg and turn your trunk so the fingers press down to give a little upward lift so that we can turn the trunk. And now your opposite arm to leg, so for you that will be your left arm. Inhale, take it up. Facing that long leg, reach towards your foot, the far side of your foot, and let's come up again. Inhale. Exhale past the leg wherever you can. inhale coming up. And let's hold on now when we arrive. Hold on to whatever you reach. Bring your other hand in. And once you've got a hold with both hands, lift your heart, breathing in. And now tucked over that turned out leg, bring your belly and your chest and your heart closer to the leg. So this is an asymmetrical stretch that we can feel. Certainly we feel it in the hamstring of that right leg, your right leg, and the opposite side, your left back. Two more breaths. Now walk your hands up the leg. Keep the leg just turned to the middle with your trunk. Raise your arms overhead along the midline and exhale, bring your arms forward. Hands touch the ground. Lift your heart and now let your heart lead again into a forward bend. So the legs are asymmetrical. The torso is along the midline. Now we're just finding our way into this forward bend, which is going to feel different from the previous one. Breathe into the places you can feel. Now we'll walk the hands back and bring your right leg in, only to take your left leg out, diagonally out to the side as far as you can. Turn your trunk in that direction, using a hand on each side of the leg to press the hands down, to lift the heart, to turn to face the leg. And once you're here, your opposite arm, so that'll be your right arm. Inhale, bring it up, and then reach for the far side of your leg. Inhale, bring it up. Stay turned towards the leg. We go a little deeper into the turn as we exhale. And one more time. And this is when we hold on to wherever we reach. Bring your other hand in and turned over the leg. Lift your heart and fold over the leg. Stay in this shape with your deep breaths, reaching the places that you can feel. We're in the diagonal orientation of the body, so we feel it in the opposite side of the back. One to go. Walking your way back up the leg to turn to the front with your trunk, leaving the legs as they are. Inhale, stretch your arms way up. Exhale, lower the hands to the mat. Got a little touch down here. Shoulders back as we lift the heart and bring your heart forward right between the thighs as we inch our way cautiously with awareness into this forward bend. So the exhale is the releasing place. The exhale is where we might find that we could go a tiny bit more. And the inhale is where we feel the incoming breath in the back. your hands back to the upright place and straighten out your other leg as well, so that we've got both legs now stretched out and straight as you can. Press your thighs down, see if your knees will straighten. And the heart opening, inhale, raise the arms. Exhale, bring the arms forward. Waiting till you reach the ground, then we have a little support. Inhale, the heart lifts, and now let your heart lead as we hinge forward and feel all of this. Looking good, yes. Attention to breath, sensations. So we're opening with these slow breathing movements. The theme of moving the spine in all the directions that it can, safely, will continue throughout today's practice. One more breath. And then we'll slowly come on up. From the upright place, slide your legs back together, and with them close together, bunion bones touching. Inhale, stretch your arms up, and then this time, bring your heart forward and reach for your feet, your toes. Heart lifting, inhale, and forward bend. So let your heart lead. Not so much the chin. And now we become very present because there's lots of places to feel in this seated forward bend. Good. Walk your hands up your legs to come on out. Bend the knees so your feet are flat. And bring your hands to the mat behind you, fingertips facing inwards. Take your shoulders back. Feet pressed down. Inhale, lift your hips. Now the spine parallel to the mat. Exhale, bring your seat back down. Inhaling, lift up. Exhale, come on down. Really work your feet. Inhale, rise. And exhale, come on back, down. Good. Ease your wrists with a little circling. And so, are you ready? We're going to knees and hands. Well, blocks can be very helpful, so have them nearby. And we'll begin with this flexing and rounding sequence with the spine. Inhaling, heart is forward. So this is a little back bend. The exhale as we tuck the tail and round the back. This is a little forward bend. Flow from one into the next. Chest forward. And then as we exhale, tail tucks under, contract your pelvic floor, your low belly, squeeze the breath out, applying that root lock. Release the root lock as we undulate the spine and bring the breath up to the collarbones and the throat. Tuck tail, round under. 2 more times. One more. this time, as you come forward, walk your hands an inch or two forward, spread the palms, curl your toes, and then exhale, take your knees up for a downward facing dog. Parallel your feet, long straight arms pressing into the mat, and your heart center, which has been leading so much, continues to lead as we stretch the chest through the shoulders, through the underarms. And once you've got that upper body set, lift and lower your heels with your breath. One more time. Good. Now bend the knees and let them come to the mat. Ease your wrists as needed. Inhaling, coming into this cow shape, heart lifting. Exhaling, round your back and take your hips towards your heels. You may or may not get all the way back towards your heels. Inhale your chest forward. Curl the toes. Exhale, downward dog. Knees down, inhale. Cow shape. Exhale, you're rounding back. Cat shape and drawing back towards child's pose. Inhale, draw forward. Curl the toes. The exhale is downward dog. Just the length of the exhale. Flow again. Inhale, knees to the ground. You can release the toes. Heart is lifting. Exhale, the spine rounds and we draw towards the heels, towards child's pose. Inhale, come forward, dip the middle back. And curl your toes. Straighten your spine completely in a neutral place for downward dog, where we'll stay this time 3 breaths. So all the ways we've moved the spine, now that it's in its own alignment, natural and straight, there's more mobility, more space. The next inhale, let that be the deep one. Hold the breath. And then exhale, lower your knees to the mat. And bring your hands to the blocks, if you have blocks. And now we'll take the right knee up behind. Inhale, lift the knee. Stretch your quad with your heart. Knee to nose, round the back. That's just the right side is rounding. Inhale. Lift the knees, stretch your quads, exhale, round. And on this third one, the right foot steps forward between the blocks. Press the foot down. Push away from the blocks, the arms now reaching overhead. And bring your hands to your low back. Press them down. And lift your heart as we've been doing. Lift the heart, take your shoulders back, and keep your balance. This is a little back bend. So it's the front foot that keeps us balanced. Let's have a sense of where that is. Keeping your right hand at your low back, bring your left arm forward and up next to your head. And see how it would be to back bend a little bit here. Keeping steady. And exhale, bring your hand back to the block, both hands to the blocks. Straighten the right leg. And stay here for 3 breaths. It's a forward bend over the leg. One more. Draw your leg back from fours. Left leg lifts up, inhale. Heart lifts too. Exhale, knee to nose, round. As we did. Last one. Stepping through on exhale. Press the foot down. This is where we practice balance. Inhale, raise your arms up. Stabilize your body as we exhale the hands to the sacrum. They press the sacrum down so that we can lift the heart, take the shoulders back, elbows back. Find your steadiness. And now just the left hand stays. Right arm, inhale, bring it forward and up next to your head and begin to arch back any amount that feels appropriate, that feels good. Breathing into that side, all the places we can feel. And the beauty of learning proprioception, which is knowing where we are in space and balancing. Nice big breath in. Exhale, reach forward, hand back to the block, both hands to the blocks. Little landing place, draw your left leg straight. And we get a little breather here, the forward bend. Long, slow breaths. And so the back bends tend to activate the heart, and the forward bends calm the heart. And we try to balance those. Perhaps you can feel that in your own body. And draw the leg back. Placing the blocks just off the mat within reach. Palms flat. Prepare for downward dog. As you exhale, come on up off the mat for downward dog. Inch your feet back a little bit so that on inhale now we can pivot to plank. Straight spine. Exhale back to downward dog. 2 more. One to go. Good. Inhale to plank and lower your knees directly under your hips. Ease your wrists. And the right leg now parallel to the mat. Stretch it out. The left arm forward. Stay to breathe. 3 breaths. Balance. The next 3 breaths, we might be able to hold the right foot with the left hand. See how it goes. Catch a hold, kick up. Once you've found your place of balance, 3 breaths. Inhale, straighten out again. And exhale, hand and knee come down. Ease your right wrist. Walk your hands a little bit forward as we're going to stretch out in a downward dog now. And as we do dog this time, can you feel a little asymmetry? On inhale, pivot to plank. Exhale back to downward dog. Inhale, plank, strong in your core and fired up legs. Exhale back to downward dog. And inhale to plank. And bring your knees to the mat. So we're back in fours. The left leg, please, straight out behind you. Right arm forward. Feel your breathing. Let it even out. So the in and the out of the same breath. Balanced body, balanced breath. And now we'll bend that left knee and see if the foot can be reached with the right hand. Kick up any amount. Breathe here. Same breath. Good. Straighten the arm and the leg. Lower the hand and the knee. Good. Ease your wrists and set up again for downward dog. So downward dog's really such a great pose for the spine. Making space between the vertebrae, lift your hips high. Sense the tail to crown, there's space. Good. Now bring your feet a little closer together and raise your right leg as high as you like behind. Bend the right knee and let that knee lift. Take an inhale, and now as we exhale, bring the knee forward towards your nose. Your shoulders are moving into plank. 2 more times. Good. And bring your right foot down. Bring both knees down. And this time let's come to forearms prayer pose hands. Give the wrists a little break as we curl the toes again and lift the knees up. And so can you feel asymmetry here? On the exhale, knees come back down to the mat. Return to hands on the mat. And the downward facing dog. Feet are close together. This time it's the left leg. First, just take it up as high, just sensing how high the leg could go without tipping the shoulders. Then bend the left knee, fill up with the breath. Exhale, knee to nose, and bring your shoulders directly over your wrists. 2 more times. And bring your left foot next to your right foot. Inch your feet back a little bit so we could pivot to plank and come all the way down to the mat. All the way down, sliding your forearms onto the mat so we're in Sphinx pose. Lowered gaze, lowered chin, lifted heart. Good. Feel free to stay in Sphinx pose. So this is really the most gentle of back bends, Sphinx pose. If you want to go a little deeper into the low back, press your palms down, get back onto my mat, and take your elbows off the mat. So the heart is lifted, the legs are engaged. We're on the pubis, the heart is way away from the mat. And exhale, lower your chest down, slide your hands next to your ribs to press to hands and knees. And take your seat back to counter pose. Seat towards your heels. Now the toes are tucked under. If you have knee issues, you'll find it's easier to get further back. And we've got a few deep breaths here, counter posing the low back, stretching out. And now please come back to downward dog. Your feet close together. Raise the right leg high. Step the right foot between your hands all the way. And nice to use the blocks here for this lunge. Just brings the floor up a little bit. And here we are, powerful legs, deep breaths. We're going to hold it for 3 more breaths. Good, so the legs are going to stay. We're going to move the spine into a twist to the right. So turn your trunk and bring your right arm up. You might look at that hand that's at the zenith point, straight up. And how your hips are still low and your back leg is still straight. Keeping the arm at the zenith point, look down, ease your neck. And exhale, lower your hand to the block, your back knee to the mat, release the toes, straighten again your right leg. So that means your hips draw back and your heel moves forward. 3 breaths here, it's a kind of counter pose. And now we'll draw the right leg back, knees together, blocks to the side as we return to downward dog. Don't put the blocks too far away. Downward dog. 3 breaths. And are you ready? It's the left leg this time. Raise the left leg behind on inhale. Aim your foot to the front of the mat. Use the blocks to hold this lunging position. Strong back leg. Inward attention. As your heart reaches forward and your back leg's really strong. And we add the twist to the left. Arm to the zenith point. We're balancing as well as stretching, as well as strengthening. And breathing through it all. Nice, everyone. Exhale, bring the hand down and lower your knee. Draw the leg back. Move the blocks. Please return to downward dog. Letting downward dog be a little restful place. And lower the knees to the mat. Good. Let's have a little moment in child's pose. So the wide knees sitting back towards your heels. If your knees are bothered by this, a blankie there will make it easier to sit all the way back and to let your brow rest and your shoulders rest as they drop forward. Breathe into your back. Two more breaths. Please return to all fours. From all fours, stretch your left leg parallel to the mat and open your left hip so your weight goes more onto your right knee and right hand, and take your left arm up into the air. Balancing now on your right knee and hand. Some of you might be able to bend your left knee and catch your foot or ankle with your left hand. And as we did earlier, just kick your foot into that hand to open your left chest and shoulder. And release, coming out, hand to the mat, hip lowers and knee lowers. Little moment to ease your right wrist. Carry the full body weight here. And we're going now to do the second side. Are you ready? Right leg back. Begin to open the hip. So your weight goes to your left knee and your left hand. Stretch your right arm up. Second part, bend the knee, catch the foot. Kick into the foot. Open the chest, open the heart. All the while, the body is navigating, staying up, not tumbling down. It's very good to learn this. Subliminal training for the body, for when in real life we meet such a moment of precariousness. Good. And release. We're coming out. Come back to the mat with the hand and the knee. Knee's your left wrist. Good. Elbows to the mat, palms touch. Have a little rest here. Let your head hang. Curl the toes. Come up off the knees, forearm balance. So this is also known as dolphin pose. Tiptoe forward, chest through. Deep breaths. Now please inch your feet back so that they're far enough back that you can lower your hips, not to the mat, but to be in a plank. So very fired up. Legs, push your energy back through your feet, forward through the crown of your head, down through the forearms and the balls of the feet. And let your breaths be equally in and out. So everything's alivened and working now. You've got one more breath in. Hold the breath at the full. Exhale, lower your whole body to the mat. Make a little pillow with your hands. We'll have a little lie down rest. Oh, and it feels so good. Relax your whole back, your shoulders, buttocks. You feel your aliveness streaming through your body. This is what makes it so good to be alive, to feel it. To celebrate that we can move like this. And how good it is to keep moving like this. Even if today you're not quite up to this, know that you can get here. You can be back here. You've been here. You know it. Nice. Let's bring the hands next to the ribs, curl the toes, pushing to the knees. Dip your seat back, little counter pose, and then take a downward dog. Just 3 breaths in downward dog. And now walk your feet to the front of the mat. This is a standing forward bend. Bend your knees and clasp your hands at your sacrum. Send the arms into the air. Take the shoulders back. Got a long neck now. And keeping your arms vigorously in the air, take a halfway up. So lift your chest. And then exhale, fold closer to your legs, arms going higher into the air. Oh, lovely, waking up the shoulders, even more stretching out the work they just did. And then we'll let the arms go and come on up to stand. Bring your arms overhead. And hands to prayer pose. Good. And so now as we pause a moment and feel this new orientation of standing tall, we'll do a few sun salutations. So feel the groundedness. Make any little adjustments that are required. And then here we go. Widen up, go the arms, breathing in. Heart leads the way, forward bend. Halfway up, so a little back bend. The exhale is downward facing dog. Inhale, come to plank. Good. Now some of you are going to bring your knees down. And some of you might roll onto the top of your feet. Lower your hips, keep your arms straight for upward dog. Upward facing dog. Take your shoulders back and down. Good, ready to return, curl the toes again. Pull the hips up through plank to downward dog. 3 breaths. Good. Walk your feet to the front of the mat. Halfway up, hands on shin bones. Exhale, forward fold over the legs, and we'll come upright, arms overhead, and maybe a little back bend here. So as you reach your arms back, lift your heart, tail is down, and the arms reaching back. The exhale takes us back to prayer pose. And the vertical axis of the spine in its natural orientation. Take a breath. Inhaling, arms widened up. Forward bend. Halfway up, breath in. Downward dog, breath out. Inhale to plank. Good. So now we're going to do that same upward dog. If you feel that's too much for your back, bring your knees down and come into Sphinx pose where your whole body's on the mat. Or roll over your toes and lift your heart as your thighs are off the floor and your heart's lifting. Good. And we're coming out, either out of Sphinx or upward dog. Curl your toes, pull your belly in as we hips back up. 3 breaths. On the exhale, both knees come down to the mat. Good. Now come on to an upright kneeling, but grab your blocks and bring them next to your feet. Let's put them high. Blocks are near the feet, and we come to an upright kneeling position. So this is, what do we call it? Camel. We call it camel pose. So we'll start with hands on the sacrum, elbows back. So we did this earlier on one knee. Lift your heart, take your shoulders back, and begin a little back bend here. For some of you, this is plenty. Maybe you could reach for the high block with one hand and the other, and draw the shoulders back, and open your heart. So camel pose on blocks, not quite as deep as reaching the feet. We'll give that a go in a moment. And just sense your body. Good way to not stretch your neck too much, to keep your chin low. Tail is tucked, lovely. Beautiful, everyone. Push your way back to the vertical place. Good. Hands on thighs. With the hands on your thighs is a little bracing as we come forward. Hands to the mat. Child's pose, a little counter pose. Stretch the low back. This may be enough for you, or we'll take one more go at camel pose. Coming back up. So these are big poses, but the spine can do this, but for some of us it's too much. Same action. So let's this time, if you're going for the deeper pose, just curl your toes. That brings the heels up a little higher. Protects your knees. Hands to sacrum. And same action, shoulders back, heart lifts, tail down. And this is a good place to stay, just supporting your lower back. Or you could reach one hand to your heel, the other hand to your heel. And this is where you get a really glorious chest opening. So in this one, your head would be hanging back. And breathe into your lovely open chest. Pubis to throat, shoulder to shoulder. Big pose. Good. Are you ready? Coming up. So push away from your feet. You can always bring your hand to a low back to walk your way up, uncurl your toes. I mean, do the same counter pose. So with your hands bracing on your thighs, so it's not too sudden for your back, walk your way down into child's pose. Get comfy in child's pose. You could widen your knees because we've completed that back bend series. Stretch your back. now we'll just roll onto the back, hugging the knees in. So it's exactly what we're doing, but flipped over. Have a little breather. So did you notice the back bend increases your heart rate? So they're activating, they're energizing. And now we're calming again, finding our balance between those opposites, active and calm. Hands on your knees, encircle them together, same direction. Rolling on that low back, counterposing. Reverse the circling. Then let your feet come to the mat. Feel that landing moment. Hands on your belly. Form a diamond shape with your hands. Thumbs touching, index fingers touching. Very soft belly. Breathe right into it. Now from here, we'll do thread the needle pose, which is another great counter pose to the back bend. Bring your right ankle to your left thigh. Hold your left thigh with both hands. Draw it in, relaxed, aware, breathing. Beginning to cool the body. So back bends tends to heat up. We've lit the fire and let it blaze a little bit. Perhaps you got hot. Now we're going back to cooling. And release the pose to take second side. Left ankle lying across your right. Hold your right thigh with your both hands. Draw it in. Press your low back into the mat. Internal awareness. Breath soothing, cooling. And release the pose, feet on the mat, parallel. Hands forming that diamond shape on your belly, soft low belly breaths. Good. So now transfer your hands to hold your head. Feet off the floor, shin bones parallel to the mat. This is our starting place for a little bit of core. Fill out with the breath. Exhale, lift your head, your chest. Bring your right elbow to your left knee and straighten your right leg close to the mat. Inhale, come back to the starting place. And exhale your left elbow to your right knee. Left leg extends and pedals to straight and returns. So do a few more of these, diagonal. And that exhale is helping the low back. Finish with your left elbow coming across. Head down, feet down. Spread your arms wide out from the shoulders. Palms up. And a little shift to the right with your bottom, with your hips. Right thigh over left. And the wrapped legs roll leftwards. Supine twist. It's going to feel great on your back and your hip. Drop into the feeling state of this and nourish it with your breaths. Now bring your knees back up and switching to the second side, so uncross, a little shift leftwards, left of center an inch or so. With your left leg on top, roll to the right and savor this moment. Savoring the breath. Taking time to really enjoy. Noticing and amplifying any sense of this feels so good. On the breath in, bring your knees back up. Uncross. Shift your hips to the midline and take cobbler's pose. Feet touch, hands on low belly. Where we again focus completely on the lovely breaths that just come pouring in and emptying out. Now please help your knees back up. Take a happy baby pose, our last pose before Shavasana. So a hand on the arch of your foot and your knees facing down to the earth. Parallel your feet if you can. That's just a fine-tuning. It's fine if your feet are turned out. I think most babies turn them out. One more releasing breath. And now let your feet go and set up for final relaxation. Just in the way that you like to, with the props that you like. and letting your limbs just drop. So we're in a neutral place, supported by the ground, and perhaps you're using a bolster under the knees, pillow under the head, eye pillow over your eyes. Let your body just fall away into gravity. And once you're settled, take a lovely nose inhale. Filling up, filling up, filling up. Hold the breath. And then sigh the breath away through your mouth. If that felt good, repeat. If you're ready to just drop into final relaxation, body held, being breathed, falling deeply inward. Just going deeper, deeper into stillness. So know that you could stay exactly as you are in the deep, relaxed place as long as you like. And if you are ready to come out, wiggle a little bit through the toes and fingers, curl up onto your side and drench your whole body with gratitude. The practice completes in a seated position with the prayerful hands. So lovely to practice with you. Thanks so much for coming. Namaste.